Welcome to CityCast Denver. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Hey listeners, what's up? We're back. Bree is here, though I am hosting today because you are taping an episode of Your City Could Be Better with our CEO, David Plotz, that's going to run this weekend.
Yeah, I am. I'm really excited. Can I preview what we're talking about?
I would love you to do that.
Okay, we're talking about the new National Women's Soccer League Stadium that will be going in at the old Gates Rubber Factory. And I'm going to tell David Plotz all about the drama about this piece of land, its history, how we've dealt with urban renewal types of projects in the past and whatnot. And I'm really excited to bring some of Denver's thoughts and feelings to a national audience. So you should listen to that this weekend.
Yeah, I expect to be hearing the Olympics get hashed out again. The whole rejecting the Olympics. There's people online saying we should make another bid. I saw someone actually saying,
really?
I saw it for real. For real.
Okay. I mean, we could rehash
David's
that and maybe we will.
No, for the love of God, no.
I know. I'm with you. I'm with you, David.
No.
David, you and I are on another side that Paul is not on.
Can I, before the summit, you just gave me an idea. We've been talking about the mascot that Denver Summit FC, the women's soccer team, should have.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of great voicemails. We're going to talk about them soon because people had some fun ideas. But a tire for the rubber plates.
Oh, the former.
What if there was like a person in a big tire costume and that was the mascot? That's pretty good.
I'm thinking of like the Michelin Man. Wasn't the Michelin Man like a big bunch of tires?
I like that.
But
Paul, I'm thinking about the car-centric nature of a tire, and that feels...
Could be a bike tire.
Controversial. Could be a bike tire.
Yeah. Could be a wheelbarrow tire.
Look,
True.
I didn't make any... Who said anything about what type of tire? Could be a wheelbarrow. Yeah.
Get that wheelbarrow.
Let me introduce our other guest. Joining us is one of our favorite new regulars. He's a contributor on politics and whatever else comes up. He's the founder of The Lever, the investigative journalism site that I love, can't get enough. The new podcast, Master Plan Season 2, in your feeds now. Welcome back, David Sirota.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, one quick thing before we get to our top story. We are sending a new weekly newsletter. If you haven't seen this, if you're not subscribed, I highly recommend you do it now because it's just been my favorite thing to work on lately. It's called Keep It Local. It's a Thursday afternoon send to your inbox, a shopping guide for your weekend. We pick a theme of the moment. This week, I'll just spoil it for you because you're going to want to get it, but it's locally owned like pet stores around the city that have been here forever.
Oh, I've got a good one.
You have a good one.
What's your one?
Oh, man.
What's the one?
I'm afraid to tell you because it's so amazing.
Don't gatekeep,
want
David.
Okay, you're right. Fair enough. And actually, technically, I will confess that I am not sure it is technically in Denver because the lines get really weird around the place it is. It's Aquatic Dog. Aquatic Dog is amazing. It's sort of in that shopping center, sort of around the corner from Comrade Brewing on Quebec and what is it? Ilift or
where Ilift
Evans turns into Ilift. Right. And it's like questionable whether I can't remember if that's like technically
it's Denver
Arapahoe
Metro.
County or Denver. It's definitely Denver Metro. Aquatic Dog is amazing specifically for lots of different things, but specifically for tropical fish. I'm talking about serious. They are serious.
Oh, God.
Like, I have a fish tank. I've had a fish tank for 30 plus years.
Guy.
But they got puppies.
We're tapping into
like that place rules.
Okay.
That place truly rules.
Maybe I'll go there with my son. That's a prize he gets as a pet if he...
They got reptiles and all that other stuff too, but like the tropical fish is like, my dad is like used to breed fish and like when my dad, who's from out of town, came in and I took him to Aquatic Dog, he was like, this is like nirvana. This place is amazing.
Fantastic. Great tip. Okay. So we're going to put a link to Aquatic Dogs in our show notes. And
it's
also
literally Aquatic Dog.
Aquatic Dog. And then a link to subscribe to Keep It Local for a whole ton more recommendations and a deep dive into a great local business, the story behind it. honestly, I loved it. It made me so happy to read this. I felt proud to be a Denverite. Check it out.
By the way, while you're at Aquatic Dog, you can go right next door and get the Philly cheesesteaks in that special Philly cheesesteak shop right there. It's actually like a sort of a little
nice
bunch
little...
of gems right there.
Yeah. Okay.
You got a little Saturday morning there.
I know. There you go.
I'm going to go over there.
Fish,
I love Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah, it's right there.
Excellent. This episode is brought to you by MultiPass. Did you know you can sell event tickets and memberships for your organization, business, or creative endeavor with MultiPass? And you can buy tickets to your favorite events, meet new friends, and create community on MultiPass too. Proudly based in Denver and deeply rooted in the local event and creative scene, this platform is for event hosts and event goers alike. With MultiPass, you can build vibrant communities through its unique community chat feature that unlocks post-RSVP. And this helps attendees connect and engage with each other. The platform also solves cash flow issues with same-day payouts and offers revenue sharing tools that automatically splits ticket revenue between producers, performers, and promoters. It also features a promoter dashboard to boost attendance with built-in tools like the ability to add street teams and track performance. MultiPass, designed to help everyone in the event ecosystem win, not just the platform. Learn more at multipass.com. That's multipass.com.
All right, let's get into our main topic for today. We'll hit it quick because it's a story we've been following a lot, but we got to do an update. Tuesday night, Bree and I were up late updating our newsletter for this morning. This is a Wednesday morning record with the results of City Council's vote on Mayor Mike Johnston's proposed new contractor for license plate reader cameras. Flock is being replaced by Axon Enterprise, which already provides the city with police body cameras. The deal is for $150,000 for a year, allowing 50 cameras. The vote was a squeaker, 7-6. Bree, what was your takeaway?
I mean, I think Flor Alvidra's District 7 was one of this sort of contentious votes because initially she was against it and then she voted for it. Surprised me. Based on her district, which joins up against mine. I'm in District 3. We have seen ICE agents in our community over the last few months. Profiling of folks is certainly a concern. In the era of the Trump administration, I was surprised by her vote. The other thing was a comment from Amanda Sandoval, council president, who said she resented the fact that she was asked to vote on a contract for such a low amount, $150,000, when normally the threshold is $500,000. And she said to Denverites, I've never voted on a contract for $150,000. I think it sets a bad precedent, which I thought.
Well, that's interesting.
It is interesting. To me, the $150,000 was sus because that doesn't seem like very much money, which to me says that data is worth a lot more to Axon, I think, than, I mean, I don't know. Council has to know all this information, but that was my takeaway was, okay.
Yeah. I remember talking to someone, I think it was someone who worked at Flock or used to work for one of these companies, and they were like, they like to do these lower cost pilots to kind of give a city a taste so then they can do a bigger contract later for more.
It's the story of every piece of tech we've ever, I think about like social media worked this way. We all signed up because it was free.
Venture capital funded expansion. And then eventually, slowly, monetization, enshittification, etc. We're living in it.
It's the regular process.
Dystopia is the theme of the show today, folks. We're going to get into it in a big way later. But David, I want to talk to you about surveillance generally, because you at The Lever have been covering this national context quite a bit and some of the local ties. How do you see this local debate fitting into that national conversation?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure that any problem is actually being, quote unquote, solved here, when we know that Axon is one of the big corporate conglomerates that is also working with DHS. And I mean, its CEO just had an earnings call where they were boasting of giant earnings increases because of their work with the Department of Homeland Security. So if the fear was that Flock was sharing its data or potentially sharing data with ICE, I'm not sure those fears are necessarily allayed with Axon, although I haven't seen the details of the specific contract, and so maybe there are stronger data protections. But I should mention, the CEO of Axon said in that earnings call that the thing he's most worried about is a data privacy situation with their data. So I guess at one level, it's on their radar that, like, if they screw up data sharing and they blow it on privacy, and let's say they, for instance, share a city like Denver's data with the federal agencies like DHS when they're not supposed to, they're afraid that that will cause a problem for them. And so I guess one argument would be, well, that's good that it's on the company's radar, that they know that they probably shouldn't allow that to happen, or they may lose contracts. Now, this is all happening in the context of a huge national question over surveillance generally. Right now, literally in Congress, they are debating whether to reauthorize warrantless wiretapping powers for the Trump administration. Our series Master Plan, season 2, is about executive power. That debate is happening right now when it comes to surveillance. For folks who don't remember this, warrantless wiretapping came into fashion right after 9/11, ultimately was enshrined in law in 2008, but they have to go back to Congress to get reauthorization of it over and over again. This is to be able to surveil you without even getting a judicial warrant. And the politics of this are actually pretty scrambled. You've got some progressive Democrats saying they don't want this warrantless, this kind of mass surveillance being reauthorized. And you've got conservative Republicans who are saying they don't want this happening.
For example, Lauren Boebert, one of the most outspoken opponents of reauthorizing warrantless wiretapping powers for the Trump administration. I mean, that's real. That's happening right now.
Wow. She continues to surprise me.
She does. Yeah. She does. I think she's kind of sticking to some of her lines.
Her real.
Like, Trump may have changed his opinions about some of these issues from when he was campaigning, but she's sticking to that vision of Trumpism that she ran on when she first got to Congress.
I think that's
like opposing the Iran war she recently did too.
Yep. Exactly.
I think that's a smart move.
I mean, listen, I think it's very typical, unfortunately, for presidents who maybe say they're opposed to big government surveillance, then becoming president and then being advocates of big government surveillance. I mean, you saw that with Barack Obama and reauthorizing warrantless wiretapping. He was a critic, then he became a proponent of it. Now you've got Trump doing that. I think what's interesting, though, what's different is that it looks like a number of conservatives, led in part by Lauren Boebert, are actually, in theory, standing up to their own president. And where it's going to get really interesting, and I don't know the answer to this, is you've got some moderate Democrats, a guy in Connecticut named Jim Himes, who's on the Intelligence Committee, pushing his party in the House, where the vote is expected to be close, pushing his party to reauthorize warrantless wiretapping power for Donald Trump. So I don't know where Jason Crow is going to be. I don't know where any of the other House members are going to be. I'm not picking on Jason Crow. I'm saying I don't know where our Colorado Democratic House members will be on the question of whether to reauthorize warrantless wiretapping power for Donald Trump. I do know where Lauren Boebert is. We'll see if she sticks to that position.
We will. We're going to watch that. And we're going to go to a break in a second. I do want to note, though, Axon, I've seen this a few times from the mayor's office and in the reporting, is that one of the big changes from Flock to Axon is that Axon doesn't have a national database for anyone to tap into. So that's an important note. And then Denver owns the data is another difference. So Denver has the
as
data.
Of now,
as of
now.
And
right. We'll see if the enshittification process happens.
Yes, they don't have a national database yet.
Yes, right.
I think there's a real interesting conversation to be had around who believes they're being protected by this and when it could turn on. I don't know. I have thoughts about who is safe in certain situations and who is not. And a lot of that's up to our perception of ourselves and what we think. Yes. So be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. But for now, we're going to go to a quick break and we're going to come back and talk about something I have been absolutely dying to get into, specifically with you two. And I just can't wait. So after this break. And we're back. The theme of the show, I said already, is dystopia, notes from a dystopia. The topic is local prediction markets. If you may have seen these things popping up recently, this is a very hot new trend in the tech world, especially. Kalshi and Polymarket are the names of websites where you can go to basically bet on anything.
Just to let you know, I did set up a poly market for this podcast right
really?
now. I created a market betting on whether we would talk about betting. So I did. So apparently I'm winning now by making sure we're talking about
Honestly,
the poly market.
You're making this now more stressful in a way that I never thought about, which was, what if someone set this up for us and was
totally. I'm kidding. I did not go set up a poly market
but that's
betting
the issue.
market on whether we're going to talk about whether CityCast is going to talk about poly market betting. But you could do that.
You could. And if you did it, you would win today.
Yeah. It would take so much fun out of the bingo card of things we talk about.
But honestly, that is the issue, because a lot of the races, there's a few local markets I've been watching. I've been watching this for years. There was a podcast called Election Profit Makers that David Reese, the hilarious comedian, Iraq War cartoonist, like genius guy, did around 2016. He was like, him and his friend John Kimball got into Predict It, which was the predecessor to these new today ones. And they were like betting on politics as a way of coping with what was happening, was what the whole podcast was about. It was great. But recently I've gotten more interested in it because obviously the Trump administration is super involved. Don Trump invested like a bunch of money into Kalshi. I think he's an advisor to Poly Market. They're so...
Because that seems like a great thing for people adjacent to our president to be doing.
It's wild. But here's why I wanted to talk to you about it is in the last month, I have now seen 3. So it is a trend. 3 political insider operative type people in Colorado who are either actively betting on markets locally or I know used to and are still paying attention to these apps, either for their predictive power or because they think they have an edge. Who?
Can you say who?
I can't tell you who.
Oh.
I can't tell you who.
Wow.
But that's what I'm like, should we be worried about this? What do we think about this? These aren't like huge markets. There's like, the one I might want to talk about is this Colorado District 8, the biggest swing seat in the state up north, the Root and L. Byrd Democratic primary, and then Gabe Evans in the fall, the Republican candidate. There's only like $13,000 being traded in this market, but that's $13,000. And like, so if you really knew something, you could move this. David, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the question. The question is whether people who have actual decision-making power and skin in the game are actually participating in the market themselves. It's one thing to have kind of inside information or special information. Like to me, I'm drawing concentric circles here of bad, right? There's like everybody who is just betting on like vibes or what they can research in the public domain. That's like the stock market, right? That's I'm not thrilled by that, but I guess that's fine. There are people who have access to inside information that's non-public, right? Like, okay, and if you're betting in a market and you have non-public information, that skews the market. That is not great. Like in the stock market analogy, that's insider trading. Then there are people who are like active participants in the events that are being bet on. Right, like that's the Pete Rose baseball problem.
I was going to say that's the Tim Donaghy NBA problem, the Jonte Porter NBA problem. Yeah,
that's and I think what I would want to know about the local markets is who has inside information from individual candidates. Like maybe this candidate's getting out, maybe this another candidate's jumping in. Like who are people betting who have inside information? And then the really sort of problematic question is anybody who's actually making the decisions that affect that market, are they betting in that market? Because that seems even more problematic than just having inside information.
Bree, what do you make of this stuff? You go.
I want to hear from you. I'm literally onto this recently because of you, but I want to know what gets you so fired up about this topic.
Well, there's 2 things. There's the stuff that David is talking about. The like, gosh, this seems pretty friggin' unethical. And it seems really vulnerable to abuse of people.
Yeah, who's participating? I mean, we know this about gambling in general. There's a reason mafia's controlled a lot of things.
On the other hand, and for the more positive side, I am going to quote directly from Dr. Paul Teske, distinguished professor of public policy and former dean of CU Denver School of Public Affairs, recent guest on the show, who I emailed about this. And he was like, I totally agree. Great topic. Great timing. Let's get into it. Local markets. He would say these markets have value because they represent the wisdom of a crowd. It's a lot of people who are perhaps informed or maybe not, just making a guess at what happens. And so if you collectively get a bunch of people making predictions or making bets, especially if they're making bets and like putting money on it, that's someone who really thinks they know what's going to happen. So
what's the diversity of this group?
Yeah, but wait a minute. Can I just ask a question about this?
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Like, what's the value in theory of knowing who is allegedly going to win CD8 now? Like, what societal value is that? I would actually argue. I'm going to go on a limb here. I would actually argue there's a negative social value to presuming that we know the outcome of elections that we want the candidates to be competing for votes for, as opposed to being seen as something that is just a rigged, predetermined outcome and game. Like, I don't see what value there is. I'm not saying I necessarily think they should be outlawed, but this idea that a prediction market, like a local election prediction market, has value, somebody articulate to me what value that is. What is the value?
Here it is. Two things. Number one, and I think I know what they would say, the people who do this. It's fun. Gambling is fun.
Okay.
The people who gamble,
right.
they
I
think
can't
it's
dispute
fun.
that. Okay.
So that's a real thing.
Okay. Entertainment value. Okay.
Number two, and this is Paul Teskey's talking, quote, on the more positive side, people are, quote, putting their money where their mouth is, so they might have more incentive to be right than experts or people responding to a survey. He says it would be interesting to see this grow more at the local level. And that's the predictive power, like compared to a poll.
Okay, so let's just like game this out. Okay, so like I bet that Manny is gonna win. I have not bet that, but let's just use that as an example.
Mm-hmm.
So that means what? I'm like more motivated to go out there and like knock on doors and help Manny win the primary and win the general election. So my bet has actually like intensified my civic participation. Or I'm betting against another candidate. It's incentivized my civic participation to defeat another candidate. I mean, I guess I can like sort of see that, but like, do we really want politics to be like civic engagement to be about like, I'm gonna like monetize my own civic engagement? Like, that doesn't feel like it's good. It just doesn't feel great.
Let me tap into your journalist mind. Here's the value.
Please.
Information. Information is power. If you're a Shannon Bird supporter and you're looking at this chart that shows her at a 24% chance of winning versus Manny Rutinel's 76% chance of winning, according to the bets in this market,
right?
You might see that and say, it's time for me to get my ass in the streets and get bird signs in lawns because she's getting her butt whooped. And I need to go activate me and all my friends.
I mean, these to me, let's like stipulate, I'm just for purposes of the argument, let's stipulate that these are quote values. I still think that those values, if you will, are far outweighed by the negative value of people are gaming these markets. And now the markets that they are gaming are literally local elections. Like, I don't think that's fantastic. I don't like mixing your democracy directly with your capitalism feels not super great. And turning it all into a casino feels not great.
I totally agree with you, but I share that feeling. Brie, what do you think? Where are you at?
I mean, I'm coming from the addict perspective, right? I'm almost 20 years in recovery as an alcoholic, and this is a addict. You can get addicted to anything if you're an addict. I have an addict brain. I've been addicted to weird stuff like going to the gym too much to where it was unhealthy. Like, gambling is a whole other thing. And the world that it was opened up with sports betting, being accessible at your phone, it's one of those things that doesn't necessarily register as a public health crisis in the same way that other things do, because if you're drunk, it's very obvious that you're drunk. It's not obvious that you're betting your family's money away on your phone every day. And so that's just what I'm thinking about, is this is just another way for addicts to have access to something that's really harmful overall. I don't know a single, it's just also, it's something that people don't necessarily talk about in the same way that we talk about other substance use issues, for instance. But I think also this particular type of betting probably leans more towards young men being involved in it. And that is already a population that is having struggles with isolation and whatnot, and nothing isolates you more than addiction. It doesn't, certainly not a community behavior. And so,
yeah, and the context of like, we're living in a country where the casino owner is the president. I mean, like the casino owner is the president. It's being sold to us explicitly in a very public way through professional sports. I mean, side note, literally the Altitude app, the Altitude Plus app, when I watch the Nuggets games, you're already paying an exorbitant amount for the Altitude Plus app. They start shoving ads onto the screen in a way that obscures the game. You have to click the betting ad to go. Oh, I'm like, I'm already paying you just to watch the game, and you're shoving betting ads at me.
And you're using people's personas and voices that are trusted in the community as figures that we're supposed to look up to. And like, I think about this a lot with like, how would this apply to the music world? Because I'm from the music world, how would this apply? How would I feel if my favorite band was shilling for something like this? Like, it's a whole new level of, David, the 90s selling out
totally.
Thought that people are like, it doesn't exist anymore. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it kind of does in the gambling arena.
And here's where it gets really scary. I mean, we should talk about the betting market on nuclear war.
Yes.
Right.
Tell your story. Tell your story.
Okay, so this is a true story. So I'm flying out from DIA. I'm in the Frontier terminal all the way at the very end. Mm-hmm. And I get a text from a friend who's like, have you seen this betting market? And he like just texts me a screenshot of like, percent chance, or like, is there going to be a nuclear war by a certain date? Right? Literally, people are betting on, is there going to be a nuclear war by a certain date?
Chilling.
So I So I tweeted out just the screenshot. I'm like, and I forget what I even said. I was like, like or I think it was Polymarket has a market for nuclear war. And I get on the Frontier plane, and of course, Frontier planes have no Wi-Fi at all, right? So I get on, like I land 3 hours later. I get off. I turn the the phone back on, and my phone is like blowing up. Because the tweet like has like millions of like views and retweets. It went like completely crazy, and Polymarket took the market down. Congressmen and senators were like weighing in, like, this is unacceptable. Like, we've created a betting market for like nuclear war, and like and then now there's legislation in Congress to ban this kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a bill going through Congress right now
that
that they're trying to stop betting on war, terrorism, murders, like. Figures, like, that's about as dystopian as it gets.
Yes, and now let's take our local example and make it into something like national, right? Like the local example is, I'm working in the congressional race. I know a candidate's going to get in or get out, so I'm going to bet, or I'm going to literally bet, and I'm going to be the decision maker to make the decision that decides the bet, right? Like this point where you're actually directing the market. Now imagine that for nuclear war, like literally. Right? Like, there aren't necessarily prohibitions being enforced among government officials who are potentially part of the decision-making process about whether the thing happens. So in theory, you have people either with inside information or who are the decision makers themselves, but being able to bet on is there going to be a nuclear war betting market? I mean, let your mind run wild with that. That is super scary in a really real way.
There's no Schoolhouse Rock on this one. We don't have an example.
There's no Schoolhouse.
Someone do Schoolhouse Rock for license plate reader cameras. For, I mean, the dystopian stuff of the day is like, oh my God. Yeah.
I always go back to Back to the Future too. Like, I don't know if you know this, the guy who wrote Back to the Future and he says that Biff, the casino owner, remember in Back to the Future 2, it was literally based on Donald Trump. Like, I think we are literally like, this is all like Biff Tannen's world.
God, between Back to the Future 2, Idiocracy, Josie and the Pussycats, Revisit, I promise you it relates to this. There's a lot of popular culture that was maybe pointing towards something much more dystopian than we expected.
Yes.
Before we wrap, can I tell you all the wildest markets I found for local stuff?
Oh, please.
The market with the highest trading volume which means the people there. This is the market on a Denver issue where I just searched Denver, where the most people are putting the most money into it.
What
is temperature, daily temperature? Will the
Okay, now can I ask a question about this? Okay, like here, that's fascinating because here's the question: what value is a prediction market on temperature? In other words, what wisdom of the crowd could there possibly be? But I mean, like, take your professor says there's wisdom of the crowd. What crowd wisdom is there about how hot it's or cold it's going to be tomorrow?
Just ruining my small talk on weather.
I mean, or beefing it up. Hey, let's check out the markets. What does a market say on heat today?
I mean, at least that's a market. At least that's a market somebody can't rig, other than the oil companies by pumping emissions into the. Right,
we could just extra pollute today.
It's pure. It's like spinning a roulette wheel, but without the zeros.
Yes.
Yes. And that was the other point he made is if a prediction market is made up of high risk seeking guys, tech bro types, it might not be diverse, knowledgeable, or large. That would certainly skew the expected results. So I think that's the other point on like how valuable is the market is. You really do have to like totally caveat who is participating. It's probably people like this. And like how much is there actually being traded? Not much. So is it predictive? Maybe in a tiny, tiny, tiny way, depending on the market. Anyway.
I wonder if any of the local meteorologists are betting in that temperature market.
The people with the inside information. I mean, I'm just thinking about how many people have access to inside information we're not thinking about. We are journalists.
Totally.
People tell us stuff all the time.
Well, there actually is those weather things. Like you have to buy into specific systems to get access to the most high quality current weather data. You probably could create an arbitrage if you bought one of those systems. Right. That's probably why these markets exist.
Well, why are you hosting CityCast? You should just go set up your own day trading business.
I'm going to the weather markets.
David, I'm calling his wife and telling her that you recommended this idea. Megan is not going to like it.
Can I tell you all one last thing on this before we wrap? Is I was looking at these markets and I found something interesting, which was in the market we were talking about earlier for the Root and L Bird primary. There was a previous candidate who was also at one point talked about as like, hey, maybe they're going to be a real threat to win this thing. Dave Young. He was running for CD8 and this is when the market started really moving because Shannon Bird was ahead for like most of October, November, December, up at like 45%. And then Dave Young drops out, Root and L shoots up, and now Root and L is favored. So as soon as Dave Young drops out, it seems like the people in this market, the $13,000 worth of them, think that benefits Root and L, and now Root and L has been ahead ever since. He's wildly favored to win.
God, I would feel weird if I was a politician and being betted on. As a human, that doesn't feel great. I mean, but this is how sports players probably feel every day.
Oh, man. I mean, my wife is in the legislature. God forbid. Oh, God.
And Paul has a poly market on Emily Sirota.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we got to talk afterwards. No, God, no. For the record, I'm not betting in these markets. I'm not participating. I'm just interested for the information.
Can I make one last point on the addiction point?
Yeah.
So, all of the betting stuff, there have been times where friends of mine have been like, at the beginning of the Nuggets season, good example. My friend was like, we should all just like put $100 on the Nuggets to win the championship. And I was like really close to doing it. And then I was like, if I make one bet, it's a rabbit hole. And I have not made any bet on sports or polymorph. Like I feel like I have like an obsessive personality and like I'm just like cold turkey or I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. And like, so anybody who's listening to this who has like obsessive tendencies, like I don't want to sound like a Puritan here, but like don't rip the Band-Aid off. Like just don't even do it once. David, because like I feel like it's a rabbit hole.
You are describing the exact reason I never tried cocaine. So there you go. I was like, I will love it and I will do it till I'm dead. So let's not even go there.
Yes.
All right. That was such a fun show. I'm so glad we got to talk about this. I'm going to put a link to that Kalshi market for CD8 in the show notes. If you're the kind of sicko that I am and you want to know, check that link out.
I'm going to put a link to if you have a gambling problem.
We should do that too, actually, for real.
Honestly.
That's a real thing.
Yes.
There are some folks out there that are struggling, I'm sure.
But also, let us know what you think. 720-500-5418. That's 720-500-5418. Leave us your name, your neighborhood, and a text or a voicemail, and we will talk about it on the show. I would love to hear from everybody about this, especially if you yourself are betting in these markets. Why do you do it? David Sirota, Bree Davies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell former CD8 Democratic candidate Dave Young about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to our morning newsletter at denvercitycast.fm. Subscribe for Keep It Local. Get that newsletter Thursday afternoons. This one is a very, very good one. You're going to want this one, especially if you're a pet owner. Thanks to all our neighbors who have joined our membership program. You too can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you next time.
Where does Manny's hotness fall into the betting, though?
By the way, Manny, I'm about to tell you something. Once you see it, you will not unsee it. Okay. Manny and Vince from Entourage. Unable to unsee it. It's uncanny, actually. It is uncanny.
Oh, Adrian Grenier. Yeah. Okay.
I heard he was a cool guy, for the record.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a cool guy.
Yeah, he was in a movie I love called Drive Me Crazy.
Yeah. The rest of those Entourage guys didn't seem like cool guys.
Yeah, I know.
I watched Sex and the City, so I watched my own group of toxic, weird people.